Welcome, Erik. Thank you so much for being here. And could you tell us a little bit about what you do, what your role in all this is?
I'd be happy to, Mayor. Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to come and speak with you today. I'm the director of the Rowlett Community Emergency Response Team, or CERT. I've been a CERT member for 15 years, and I've been the director for approximately 10 years. I was preceded in this position by Dr. Michael Lucas, who is my mentor and a good friend of mine. I'm also a vice president of the Rowlett Citizens Corps Council, and I'm on the board for the Rowlett Community Organizations Aiding in Disaster.
And that's all volunteer work. We keep you very, very busy in this community. Thank you so much, by the way, for everything you do.
Well, my wife calls it the job that doesn't pay the mortgage, so.
Yeah, I know about that.
You do.
So, Erik, tell us a little bit about Rowlett Citizens Corps Council.
Sure. The Rowlett Citizens Corps Council is comprised of 7 different programs for which the RCCC is the umbrella organization. We have Rowlett CERT, Rowlett Fire Corps, Rowlett Aries and Races, Rowlett Volunteers and Police Service, or VIPS, Rowlett Explorer Post 1, Explorer Club 4701, and we have our sister CERT team, East Tech CERT, which is in 7 eastern counties. And all these programs are led and staffed by volunteers.
So, you know, a lot of our citizens have heard about CERT, but let's talk about a couple of those other programs first. Talk to me about RACES, if you could, because I imagine there's a lot of citizens that don't know what that is.
Sure. RACES, we have a combined ARES and RACES organization, and ARES stands for Amateur Radio Emergency Services, and RACES stand for Radio Amateur Civil Emergency Services. There are amateur radio operators who provide storm spotting services and also provide communications during disaster response. So
very integral to the rest of the operation, obviously.
Very integral.
And VIPS, Volunteers in Police Service, probably one of the more visible organizations in town.
Rowlett Volunteers in Police Service, or VIPS, provide assistance to the Rowlett Police Department with things such as handicap parking enforcement, vacation house watch, and a lot of administrative assistance, especially in the warrants office, and provides a lot of service hours to the police department.
And I know our police force is so thankful for VIPS. I know they relieve them of a lot of administrative tasks that are very important so that our officers can be out on the streets. So.
Absolutely.
And Explorer Post, I know that's near and dear to your heart. What is that all about? Sure.
Explorer Post 1 is our youth organization for any youth ages 14 to 21, and it really focuses on career exploring in emergency management, firefighting, and emergency services, with an emphasis on teaching leadership skills. They also respond right alongside our CERT members, and I call them our CERT ninjas. You know, they're very active, a little more agile. They really help us a lot. So.
And great training for those youth.
It is. And they've had a lot of success with the program in regional competitions. They always place very well, if not first, and we're very proud of that organization.
Rowlett Fire Corps, I know, is a very important organization under the RCC umbrella, so tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, Rowlett Fire Corps is a group of volunteers who are on call for if there's a structure fire or a large incident that occurs within the city. And what the Fire Corps volunteers do is they will respond to the scene. They will provide rehabilitation services, including Gatorade, water, cooling. They will help roll hoses. They will run air bottles. Just a lot of the things to keep the firefighters in the line and operational, and keeps them operational instead of having to perform those tasks themselves.
And like the police force, I know the fire department personnel are so thankful to have those volunteers at the scene.
Sure, and I don't know how those firefighters do it sometimes when it's 100 degrees out and they've got full bunker gear and they're going in to fight those fires. So we're super appreciative of what our firefighters do for us every day.
And then CERT, let's talk about CERT. What does CERT stand for, and what are we doing with this organization?
Sure, CERT stands for Community Emergency Response Team, and CERT members are trained volunteers who assist in disaster response, missing persons, damage assessment, first aid, and you may see us a lot as courtesy patrols or first aid at city events, or whatever other requests may come from the city or our partner organizations. CERT volunteers are trained in damage assessment, triage and first aid, light search and rescue, disaster psychology, fire safety, and small fire suppression, and they get additional training in the incident command system and CERT operations. For those who want to further their training, we offer additional training in missing persons, wide area search, shelter operations, CPR AED functions, communications, logistics, and incident command.
So how do you join CERT? What are the requirements to be a part of this organization?
Sure. First and foremost, I want to stress that anyone can join CERT regardless of age, physical capabilities, or interests. We have a saying that there's something for everyone within CERT. As an example, for every person who goes into the field, there are at least 2 people needed to support them, whether that's through communication support, logistics support, transportation, or documentation. So to join CERT, you must first complete the G317 basic training class, which occurs over 2 concurrent Saturdays and is generally offered in February and August. Our next class would probably be in February, but we'll have to see based on where the pandemic goes. Anyone can take the class, and we encourage all of our citizens to do so, even if they don't want to join or plan on joining CERT. After completion of the basic class, prospective members must complete an 8-hour class of additional training for Rowlett CERT and an orientation. At the end of the orientation and training, we issue their CERT kits and identification. To stay active in CERT, members must complete an additional 24 service hours a year, which may include drills, training, meetings, or deployments.
And certainly, you know, one of the major events in this town that CERT played such an important role was the tornado. And, you know, we could not have gotten through those first few weeks without CERT's involvement in that tornado recovery. It was amazing what y'all did.
Yeah, during that time, we provided over 3,800 hours of response efforts during the 2015 tornado. And our operational period started when the tornado first struck the city and continued through January 1st of 2016. Some things that folks also don't know about is we are an advanced team for the Emergency Operations Center. If we know that severe weather's coming in or there's a potential for some type of activation, we will bring the Emergency Operations Center online with our Office of Emergency Management to be prepared for when that event strikes.
And, you know, I was in the community center that morning when CERT was activated, and how many people were there? How many CERT volunteers do you think were there?
I hope I don't get the count wrong. So we activated that evening and put a call out through the North Central Texas Council of Governments to activate all available CERT members. And I think we had 383 members show up by 7 o'clock.
It was a lot.
In the morning,
from
that
all
following
over,
morning.
From all
correct,
over.
from all over North Texas.
Not just this area, East Texas.
That's correct.
Yeah. So CERT's been very instrumental during this COVID-19 pandemic too. So how has CERT played a role during this time period?
Sure, we kind of had to think outside the box. During the early stages of the pandemic, CERT coordinated making over 3,500 phone calls to seniors with partner organizations to determine their needs related to food, sanitation supplies, utility assistance, prescription medications, and their general well-being. As we determined these needs, CERT members made deliveries of food or supplies, or so provided the information to our partner organizations in the community organizations aiding the disasters to provide the requested assistance. RCCC members would also make weekly calls to citizens who just requested that we check in on them to make sure they were okay, and that was pretty frequent. We had a lot of seniors who didn't have family or friends locally, and it was really important to them to be able to reach out and just see how they were doing. During this time, the Bowie Office of Emergency Management requested assistance from CERT after a tornado to conduct damage assessments within their city. Over 20 CERT members responded to this following socially distanced and CDC recommendations, and we completed this request in 1 day. We also received a request for assistance from the Point, Texas Police Department through our East Tex CERT sister organization to assist with locating a missing person. We also had over 20 CERT members respond to that request, again, while following CDC guidelines. We've also, you know, it's important to stay socially active as well. So during this time, we've also continued to hold virtual monthly meetings and trainings, and look forward to when we can meet again and train in person.
So Erik, if you would, could you tell our viewers how they could find out more information about your organizations?
Absolutely, Mayor. If you'd like to find out specifically about CERT, you can go to rowlettcert.com. For any of the programs of the Rowlett Citizens Corps Council, you can go to rowlettcitizencorps.org. And then for the city's community organizations aiding in disaster, you can go to rowlettready.com.
Well, Erik, thank you for being here to help our citizens understand a little bit more about all these volunteer organizations and how they can contribute. But on behalf of the City Council and the entire city, thank you to you and your entire volunteer organization. They've just been so, so important to our community, and we just are so thankful for every one of you.
Well, thank you, Mayor, and we want to thank the support that the city provides to our organization. We really do it out of a sense of duty and responsibility to the city, but we couldn't do it without the support of the council and the fire department and the police department. We all do it together, so.
Thank you.
Thank you.